If oil starts trading in non-petrodollars, such as gold or a basket of currency, and the way of life for the average American will be done. It will be worse than the Great Depression.
Would Vladimir Putin be the next Gaddafi or the next Saddam Hussein? Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Raphael. On today's video, I want to talk about something that is very important. Don't mind how tired I look because I have actually had a stressful day, but then I still have to, get out time to make this very important video. Now, I am here today with another amazing finding. I made this finding while I was, going through some informations online. I found a video that would interest you and that will actually expose another side of this war that you would or you have never heard about. Because we were told that it's because of those who were trying to justify the Putin's invasion on Ukraine. They said that it's because that because of the NATO agreement, because of the Minsk agreement, because of the Donbass and the Donetsk regions that were being shelled by the Ukrainian, and because of the far right, the neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Quite all right, it's true that these things do exist, but then they do not still justify Putin's attack on Ukraine as it's unknown. But then there is something that is underneath all of these things that I have just found out that after playing this video, you are going to understand what I mean. But before I play the video, you can feel free to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then we are going to see at the other side.
The standard of living of all Americans can be traced back to here, the vast oil-rich deserts of Saudi Arabia.
In the early 70s, after the Arab crisis happened with the oil embargoes, OPEC basically tripled the price of oil to the Western world. And at that time, America realized that they were vulnerable because they were importing about 70% of all the oil they consumed.
To secure a reliable foreign source of oil, U.S. President Richard Nixon sent his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger to Saudi Arabia for a secret meeting. The result was a pact that still stands to this day.
If Saudi Arabia, which at the time was the world's largest producer of oil, would sell the oil in US dollars, America would defend Saudi Arabia and make sure the House Assad would stay in power.
As a direct result of this US-Saudi agreement, all other oil-producing nations also adopted the dollar as the de facto medium of exchange. Demand for it increased exponentially all over the world, and soon it had a new name: the petrodollar.
Your currency is only as strong as the demand for it, just like anything else, the supply and demand. Why the petrodollar is important? It causes a demand for the US dollar. A lot of Americans don't realize that over 70% of all the $100 bills in the world are actually outside of the US. There's more $100 bills in Russia than there are in America.
This stockpile of US dollars in countries around the world is because oil is bought and sold using the greenback.
If oil starts trading in non-petrodollars, such as gold or a basket of currencies, or if China and Russia start trading in yuan and ruble rather than US dollars, that demand isn't there. And the way of life for the average American will be done. It will be worse than the Great Depression.
To date, anyone who's potentially threatened the status of the petrodollar hasn't fared well. Libyan strongman Muammar Gaddafi publicly pushed for a Pan-African gold-backed currency that he would trade for Libya's oil. He was killed during a US-backed revolution in 2011. And just a few short years before, Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein advocated selling oil for euros.
At this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq.
The U.S. invaded under the guise of looking for WMDs.
Iraq did not have any weapons of mass destruction, and interestingly enough, after the Americans invaded, took over, put in their own government. The whole concept of selling oil in euros never surfaced again.
Today, many countries resent the current petrodollar system, and their leading spokesperson is none other than Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Со дня образования полка.
Americans should be very worried about what Putin can do. There is a new Cold War going on. It is the Colder War. That is exactly what's going on. And who's in the center of this push? Vladimir Putin. And the petrodollar is so crucial to the Colder War. The only thing holding America right now at the top is the petrodollar. And let me make it very clear. If the petrodollar dies, so does America as a superpower.
Hi guys, welcome back. So let's break that video down. Okay, let's take it piece by piece. Let's start from the first person, from Saddam Hussein. You can see that there is a pattern from Saddam Hussein to Gaddafi and now to Putin. Firstly, what links these three together, as this video has actually explained to you, what links them together is that they are the people who have actually come out to speak up against the idea of the petrodollar. They are the people who have tried to topple the petrodollar. So now I hope you're seeing this thing from the angle that I'm looking at it from. Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and Putin. Now I don't mean other people might have been talking about the petrodollar, from the underground, from here and from there. But remember, you cannot do much about the petrodollar except you are a superpower, or except you have the resources to back it up. And that was exactly what Iran and Libya were gearing towards before the US and the NATO attacked. Now, what else links these three together? The next thing that links them together is that they were all branded by the media as very evil people. It's the classical media style to brand people who they want to kill and destroy as very evil. Why they really see those who are evil and they don't say anything about them. I want you guys to be understanding what I'm saying here in this video, so that you can understand that there is actually another side to this thing. What did they do to Saddam Hussein? They said that he had weapons of massive destruction. They propagated it so much that journalists, that people started thinking with their emotions instead of their common sense. People were thinking with their emotions. And that is the job of the media, to make you think with your emotions instead of your common sense. Saddam Hussein, they said he had weapon of massive destruction when he had nothing. What did they do to Gaddafi? US and NATO, together with Britain, as they were all part of the same alliance then, they came into Libya and funded terrorists. After funding these terrorists, what did they do next? They put Gaddafi in a state where he was going to, call these terrorists very terrible names, and then talk about squashing them and even talk about killing them. At that point, they said, oh, we have caught him. And that was how they eliminated Gaddafi, with the thinking or while trying to make people feel that, that Gaddafi was a bad man. They painted him bad. They didn't shed any good light on Gaddafi. Of course, you know the story of Libya, right? Now, I don't need to tell you the story of Libya and how Libya is a mess. You know the story completely. Now, what have they done with Putin? Let us start with Putin. Right now, they are actually putting Putin in the box where they want him to be. Unfortunately, I will say Putin is falling there. But unfortunately for them also, Putin is not any of these two other guys. He's more of a superpower than these other two. So carefully, there is a video I watched on the internet where Joe Biden, in the 1990s, Joe Biden himself, the present president of USA now, was saying that if Ukraine joins NATO, that will be the height of tension from Russia. But then Russia was weak, so he said anything could happen. This same person who was warning in the 90s has now come back to enforce Ukraine joining NATO after they had overthrown the government of Ukraine in 2014, democratically elected government in 2014. You will see how this thing is playing out. Now they forced NATO, Ukraine, to accept NATO membership. They extended that hand. They knew what it was going to cost. They wanted this war. It is this war that is actually going to make them paint Putin in the light that they want the world to see him for. Unfortunately, Putin fell for it. But he had no option. In fact, they knew he would fall for it. That is why they did what they did. So now what is happening? They are in the process of damaging Putin's image. They're in the process of damaging his image. It's simple. They knew what they were doing. And that is what they are still doing now. This is still for them like phase 1 or 2. But it's a dilemma how to go to the third phase, which is eliminating Putin. That is why what do you see on the internet? Everywhere is assassinate Putin, kill Putin, kill Putin, kill Putin. Exactly what they did to Saddam Hussein, exactly what they did to Gaddafi. The same thing now, they're now calling for the head of who? Putin. And this might not be completely the thing behind this war, you understand? But I want you to see this and know that USA, they are very ambitious people. The US and the oligarchs, those who possess this dollar, they are very ambitious people. They want to play their game. It's a very wicked game, very cruel game. They don't care about anybody. The people of Ukraine are just the pawns here. They are just the pawns. And that is what you must understand. That is what you must understand. And if you understand that, then you would start thinking from your head and not from your emotions. You will start thinking from your head and not from your emotions. Now, this is all I have for today's video. There is no much time. I don't want to make this video last so long. So I'll just keep it here. Just try to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'm going to keep you updated as to what is going on. You understand? And then I'll make other videos, about Europe as usual. But then I just wanted to discuss this stuff with you, and I move on to the next thing that bothers us. Okay? See you in my next video. Have a good night. Have a great time. Bye-bye.